Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Give me oil in my lamp, I pray. Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Keep me burning till the break of day. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King of Kings. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King.
God is great, God is good, God is merciful unto all who will call on his name. Yesterday and today and forevermore, he abides and is always the same. God is great, God is good, God is merciful, and he sees for the soul born astray. God is great, God is good, God is merciful, and he sees from his throne day by day. He is waiting to bless every soul through the Son who on Calvary died. God is great, God is good, God is merciful, with the arms of his love open wide. He would save all the lost by his grace divine. He is tender in mercy and love. By the death of his Son on the cruel cross, there is pardon and peace from above. God is great, God is good, God is merciful, and he sees for the soul gone astray. God is great, God is good, God is merciful, and he sees from his throne day by day. He is waiting to bless every soul through the Son who on Calvary died. God is great, God is good, God is merciful, with the arms of his love open wide. Christ abides day by day as the shepherd true, and he seeks for the sheep born astray. Turn to him, weary one, while he's calling you, and rejoice as you walk in his way. God is great, God is good, God is merciful, and he seeks for the soul gone astray. God is great, God is good, God is merciful, and he seeks from his throne day by day. He is waiting to bless every soul through the Son who on Calvary died. God is great, God is good, God is merciful, with the arms of his love open wide.
Amen. All right, I'd like to greet you once again this evening in the wonderful name of our soon coming Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. By the way, for those that still remember, our theme is the jelly and the belly. The jelly, in this sense, representing the brain, and the belly, and how both are interlinked and connect. Because true health actually starts in the brain and not in the belly. The brain controls the belly. So the enemy is attacking the brain, so the belly can be subject to the brain, and the brain, once it's lost, it's lost. There's nothing you can do. Once the brain is lost, then that's when Paul says now that the good which I know to do, I do not. Then even the belly will want that which is not good, knowing that it's not good for itself. And then you just find yourself gravitating towards those things that are not good, even if you know that they're actually indeed poison or they're killing you. So today, Our subject is weapons of mass destruction. The first thing that will come to your mind probably will be atomic bombs and missiles and war and stuff. But then there's something that's even worse than those things, because statistically speaking, war does not kill as much people as diet does. There's nothing that kills people more than diet itself. And that's why from the very, very beginning, the serpent tempted through diet. And that's where the whole great controversy began. So then, our first slide has got something interesting. It's got the abbreviation WMD, which is weapons of mass destruction. But then I don't know whether you can see something peculiar about this, about the M. Right. So these are the real weapons of mass destruction. And the theme verse we'll find in Hosea 4 verse 6. But before we get into the theme verse, I want to greet you as usual, as it is my native thing, with my own personal verse that I have for you, which you find in the book of Psalms chapter 42, verse 11. And it reads, "Why art thou cast down, O my soul? And why art thou disquieted within me? Hope thou in God, for I shall yet praise him, who is the help of my countenance and my God." And the only true healthy countenance is when God shines through your inner soul, throughout your entire countenance. And people, when they see you, they see God shining through you. So please turn to your neighbor and say, "The help of my countenance." The help of my countenance. And let God be the help of your countenance. Oh, that's actually me telling you. I didn't actually need to say that. Okay. All right. So Hosea 4 verse 6. "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Now, a lot of people like to quote this verse and end there. But then, what's more powerful about this verse is what it then goes on to say after that. It says, "Because thou hast rejected knowledge." So it's not the lack thereof. It's the overabundance of knowledge, but then the rejection thereof. "I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children." And you know, when the commandment says that if you break these commandments, then the pestilences and you know, let me just say, the consequences will visit you even unto the coming generations. In other words, rejecting God's law will have consequences not only on you, but even your coming generations. And so, the knowledge is there, the information is there. And what I have displayed here is actually knowledge information. For those that cannot see, I've done you a little shopping. I know perhaps I was coming to your place, knocking on the door and carrying a plastic bag full of these things, you'll think, "Wow, this is such a wonderful man indeed. He thinks of us, he even brings us, you know, a good grocery." It does look good, yes. But then today, this is what we're going to dwell into. The real weapons of mass destruction: food and cosmetic additive dangers, which is, I like to call it the wicked food industry. Isn't there a wicked music industry? With the way the music is these days, is really wicked. But now the food industry is just as wicked, if not more. The music industry can only kill you spiritually, but the food industry will kill you both spiritually and physically. So, because the food industry is profit-led, it's all about the money. The music, I remember, you know, I don't listen to secular music, but now, unfortunately, where I work, I guess maybe I'm the only one who really is inclined to godly music. Everybody else is really after secular music. And so they switch on the radio, and I remember listening to this song. It's a house song, and there's only one thing that's been said in the entire song. It's money, 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 money. And I'm thinking, this person is going to sell 100,000 records through just saying one thing. Money, 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 money. So that's just how the food industry is. It's also money, 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 money. That's why Isaiah chapter 55 verse 2 says, "Wherefore do you spend money for that which is not meat? And you labor for that which satisfieth not." Costs are cut, cheap synthetic ingredients used, and important nutrients stripped from foods to make managing, packaging, and transportation easier. Even the shelf life and profits should be higher. So, It's all about the money, the shelf life, and knowing that anything natural will definitely decay or putrefy fast. That's why when it comes to the meat is treated with carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide being a chemical that's going to give milk sort of like 6 weeks shelf life. Ordinarily, meat is supposed to have like one day, and then the following day really is bad. You can't eat it. But the carbon monoxide is going to give meat 6 weeks shelf life, and it's going to give it a nice, like red, like a peeling color. That when you pass with the trolley, you think, I can't resist. So, refined, processed, poor quality food is causing more illness and malnutrition in humans than any other factor, and is responsible for the steep rise in many conditions such as asthma. Now, if ever any of you are looking for the reasons why we have asthma, where asthma comes from, this is where asthma really comes from. Obesity, diabetes, heart disease, bone, skin, and blood disorders, reduced immunity to bacteria or viruses, and fungal infections, and cancer. So this is when they take your raw sea salt, which has got the iodine and all the minerals, and they take out those minerals and everything, and they sell you just the so-called iodized salt. Now they take out the iodine and they put it back in. Now when they put it back in, it's synthetic, it's no longer original, it's no longer the real thing. And the food industry exploded just 50 years ago, which means the long-term effects of human consumption of these additives has not yet been assessed. And always they're coming up with new discoveries, and certain additives are being banned. Like, for instance, next year maybe they'll discover that the E code E453 is actually this substance which is causing a high rise in, say, maybe autism in children. Then they start banning it. So every year they're discovering something, and so when they ban something, they replace it with something else. So still, it's like, you know, an eye for an eye, it's almost like two wrongs. They don't make it right. Many are just coming to light now as more reports of adverse conditions are linked to additives in foods. The artificial sweetener, which is aspartame, is one example. And I think aspartame is one of the, for me personally, is the chief additive which really is causing a whole lot of problems. When they say Diet Coke, or Coke Zero, it's got no sugar, it's got a sweetener, the sweetener is aspartame. You'd rather have the sugar, not the aspartame, because if I tell you what the aspartame really is and what it does to your body, there's nothing diet about it. There's nothing zero. It's actually, there's nothing zero in it. It's millions and millions of problems rather than any zero. So the food industry denies any responsibility for the adverse effects of this additive. Yet a 60-day abstinence has improved and even cured many people's health problems. So then if you're one who drinks Coke every day with aspartame, and then you start experiencing maybe things like headaches and stuff, and you're drinking grandpa and all that stuff, and then you then abstain from that Coke Zero for 60 days, your body will rid itself of all that accumulated aspartame that has been causing or damaging even your DNA. So these additives can go right down to even your DNA. That's why it's easy to pass the genes on to your offspring. So because it takes so long for conditions to arise from ingesting additives, as they slowly build up in the system, many other factors can be blamed. That's why you'll never smoke today and wake up with cancer tomorrow. But then you smoke for maybe 20 or so years, then the cancer develops. So then because it takes so long when you're drinking Coke Zero, if you saw that the moment you drink Coke Zero, the following day you wake up with sicknesses, then it'll be so obvious that the Coke Zero is doing things to me. But then it takes long, so you keep on, you keep on, you keep on. So in other words, the food industry has struck gold when they discovered something like aspartame or these other additives. They struck gold, they said, yeah, this is gonna take maybe 40 years for people to start experiencing problems. And then at that time now, say you start drinking it at 20, 40 years later, you're 60, you say, well, it's old age. It's natural, I'm supposed to be sick. Then when you're saying 60 is old age, and Moses was at 120 years old walking and seeing properly with his eyes, then what is old age? In other words, Moses will be old enough to be your grandparent when you're 60, and yet 120, and yet you look sicker than Moses, he looks healthier. It's a conundrum. So this is why the food industry is allowed to continue adding substances that can cause ill health. So when the synthetic supplements are added to food to make it more sellable, the cofactor minerals and phytonutrients. Phytonutrients is any plant nutrient, any plant element, magnesium, copper, those are the phytonutrients, the antioxidants. required for absorption are ignored. Natural food contains a balance of nutrients that man has not yet been able to comprehend entirely. The purpose of hundreds of phytonutrients and minerals in the body processes in food is not yet fully understood. Hence, every year they've discovered something new. We've discovered that blueberries are good for cancer, but now we've discovered a new berry in the Amazon called acai berries, or goji berries, or gooseberries. Every year they're discovering something new about, and I think they've only discovered about a quarter of the entire world's plantation and its health benefits, and there's still 3/4 left out there in the Amazon, in the Congo, that people have not yet discovered. So the dangers for children, and the children are the worst affected when it comes to these things. And now what McDonald's has done is they've put all these toys, the Spider-Man and these superheroes in bright colors, bright reds, Superman there with the bright blue and this and that. And so colors really appeal so much to children. So hence that putting that same concept in the food. Unfortunately, bright synthetic colors make food attractive to children. And it is these colors that can adversely affect children's health the most. This is at a critical time when a child needs to be healthy and able to learn and develop. And from age 0 to 10, that's when the child's character is developing. So now when you start feeding that child also with the food, that affects the way the child thinks. Then you're almost sealing the child's destiny from 10 onwards. So the effects of additives could have repercussions on the education and personality of a child for the rest of his or her life. And then E, right? Like when you pick this up and you look at the ingredients, already I can see E631, E627, I think there's another E number. Okay, fine. Now, when perhaps you look at or you read those ingredients, it doesn't click to your mind, or you don't get curious to say, what is this? Because you still throw it in your pot and you make a nice stew out of it anyway. And then you buy it every day, and that's the normal thing. So then I call this the E, or also known as evil. For me, the E doesn't stand for evil, but then I've made it to stand for evil because these numbers really are evil numbers. They'll put pig's fat, but then they won't write pig's fat because most Christians and Muslims and stuff won't buy it. So then they code it in an E number, whereby they'll tell you, no, you have to research for yourself. And then if you think of researching, you think, anyway, I'd rather just do WhatsApp and Facebook. So the E numbers. Signs that a child is being affected by E numbers in foods are, that's the whole list: irritability, hyperactivity. Sabbath school, we know the little children can't sit down and elder has to go there and tell them, hey, hey, hey. Some want to be like Johnson and jumping from the chair to the table too. Temper and tantrums. Oppositional defiance, always being defensive. Restlessness or difficulty falling asleep. Poor mothers who wake up at 2 a.m. because the child really can't fall asleep. Anxiety or depression. And concentration issues. That's when the low grades will come. And then added supplements. This ignorance about human bodily microprocesses is why stripping the necessary nutrients from the foods, such as grains and sea salt, before selling it to humans for consumption is a practice that should be ceased. And this really should be ceased. If somehow we could stand up all and maybe even protest against such things, instead of saying fees must fall, these things must fall, the E numbers must fall. Adding a cheaper version of those stripped out nutrients afterwards, or adding other nutrients that don't even belong in that food to beguile the consumer into purchasing the product is underhand and cheating people out of the real, healthy, natural, balanced foods. So that's why adding back the iodine, its future is vanishing. The type of vitamin D that humans can absorb is D3. That one you get it from the sun, and you get it from other foods like maybe tofu and stuff. But often they are sold a version that is useless to the body, which is D2. So then they take out the D3, which is the healthy one, and they add back D2, and they sell it to you and they say, rich in vitamin D, give to your children, and they'll become healthy. Which vitamin D? Some industries even sell the important compounds they strip from human food products onto other industries to make bigger profits. Now, this is where when perhaps you've ever wondered to say, vitamin C tablets, where did you get the vitamin C from? So they take the lemon, take out the vitamin C and add it in tablet form and sell it to you. Instead of simply telling you go and eat the lemon, they sell you the tablets. Ah, no, you've got a vitamin B complex shortage. That B complexes, I think vitamin B complexes are and vitamin C tablets are the most abused supplements. So they take out the vitamin Bs from the grains and the seeds and stuff, add it in the pills and sell it to you. Instead of telling you just eat seeds. Telling you to eat seeds will make them broke. So then they say, there is a complexes. So cheap nutrients and free salt and addictive sugar is added to everything so that the consumer will repeatedly buy and eat. That's why this, I think it's a muffin mix. Some people maybe perhaps consume this every day. When you get home, you can't go throughout the entire day without at least having your favorite muffin. So there's always that craving. Now telling someone to say stop that because that's causing your arthritis is almost like I'm insulting or swearing at that person. You know, the reaction like, almost like as if the person ready to pick up stones and stone me. So then, that's what they do. They add these things to then fool your brain and to make you addicted. Then you really can't let go, you're hooked. That's where the concept of the belly and the jelly come. Now this starts controlling this because this has been corrupted. Then this is now blamed for you know what this does by gravitating towards these foods. So now I'm going to give you a list of some of these. Now we're going to break down these E numbers, but not all of them because they start from E100 to like E1000 and something. So I can't break down all 1000, but I just carefully selected some of the common ones that you'll find when you read some of these things, these labels. It says avoidance of the products listed below in red by carefully checking ingredients is best, and many natural foods can help flush out these toxins. Let's just jump straight to it. So now with the food colors, there's food colors that give all these bright colors. So there's E100, which is curcumin. Now curcumin is found naturally in turmeric. That yellow color, that bright yellow color is the curcumin. So if it's natural in turmeric, it's good. Now when they take it out and then they add a chemical base and you know a reagent, and then they add it back to the food, oh, now it becomes dangerous. That's when it can cause hives, skin rashes, increase the risk of bleeding to those taking anticoagulants. Anticoagulants are blood thinners. People who've got clots and who've got maybe high blood pressure because your blood is thick, they're given anticoagulants. So then now, this can cause bleeding to those taking anticoagulants. Now that they're taking those pills, this curcumin can cause the bleeding. Or women who are pregnant. So now what curcumin does, or what turmeric really does, is a liver tonic. It cleans your liver. Now when you take it out and add it back, it's doing the total opposite of cleaning your liver. So it's like when Lucifer was in heaven, he was praising God, but when he came out, he's now opposing God. So the two can link. Tetrazine, a bright yellow or orange coloring, banned in Norway and Australia, can cause hyperactivity, behavioral issues, skin rashes, migraines, chromosomal damage, which is a DNA, to the fetus, thyroid, cancer, or even blurred visions. The moment I said blurred visions, I then caught sight of a few people that are wearing spectacles. I'm not making fun of your eyes or anything, but then perhaps now this can be, maybe now you can know the reason why. You can be maybe taking the herb eye bright and you've come off sugar, but then you're still eating food products that have got these things inside, and you're seeing no difference with your eyes. Maybe even you're using the best eye drops imported from Switzerland or wherever, but still no change in your eyes. Now, the natural foods and the natural herbs will not really work effectively if you don't stop that which is causing the illness in the first place. So then, E103, which is alkanet or alkanin, the yellow-orange color, forbidden in some parts of the Western world, may increase hyperactivity in affected children. Asthmatics sometimes react badly, can adversely affect those that are sensitive to aspirin. So then for asthmatics, you always blame the cold weather. Fine, a cold weather can have a certain degree, some certain degree a part to play. But then now, if you remove the foods that are really aggravating your airways, then even the cold weather will stop affecting. That's how you actually reverse asthma. Quinolin yellow, side effects include hyperactivity, ADHD. ADHD is an abbreviation for attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Kids suffer from that. And I think also people who dance like Michael Jackson and who dance like as if they don't have bones, that's ADHD, because you really need to be on another level of hyperactivity to dance like that. So it's ADHD in children and eye damaging. It causes blindness, tumors, and cancer. When using cosmetics, it can cause dermatitis. Dermatitis, or anything like derma, is skin. Like dermatologist is a skin doctor. So dermatitis now is like, itis is an inflammation, so skin inflammation. Any type of skin inflammation, skin swelling. Banned in Australia, USA, Japan, and Norway. But there's no South Africa mentioned here. So this is a banned in USA, Norway, but everything's coming here to Africa. And then E110, which is sunset yellow, or FCF, or orange yellow, can cause urticaria. Urticaria, now, that's the medical term for hives, basically. Rhinitis, which is runny nose. I used to suffer from this badly, especially when I was a little child. And nasal congestion, so the sinuses. Eye damage, blindness, allergies, hyperactivity, kidney tumors, chromosomal damage, abdominal pain, indigestion, nausea, vomiting. These things actually even add to the menstrual cramps. And remember, we got a question about menstruation yesterday. And so now this is one of the things that can add to those. When it says abdominal pain, it can be anything from colic, which is like something happening with the kidneys, or menstrual pain. All there is abdominal pain because you're feeling it, yeah. And so this, it is used in cereals, bakery, sweets, snack foods, ice cream, drinks, and canned fish. And yeah, this is what we have. The bakeries, yeah. The drinks are, yeah. So now you can really see where the sickness is coming from. And then we've got E120. I think I should jump to, yes, preservatives. Now the preservatives are put in food to prolong shelf life. So now, the longer the shelf life, the more the probability or the chances that the product will be bought, and so the business won't suffer from wastages or have to throw away things. So there are sorbates, which are added to margarine, dips, cakes, and fruit products. Sorry. E200 is sorbic acid. This one I used to read it from Evelyn as a little child, but never been bothered wondering what it was. And it can cause headaches and intestinal upsets, like bloating, intestinal cramping. E202, which is potassium sorbate, can cause headaches and also intestinal upsets. E203, which is calcium sorbate, can do the same thing as well. So that's what the sorbates do. And then the benzoates are added to juices, soft drinks, cordials, syrups, medications. That's why Ellen White said that pills or injections do not cure diseases. And at the time she wrote that, they thought, no, this woman is crazy. Now they add these things even to the medication. All the following benzoates can cause headaches and intestinal upsets. Now I've got a question. Why do you think medicine is called a practice, yet IT is a profession? I mean, would you trust your life in somebody who's practicing? So now, this is the sad part about the medical industry, is that they will suggest a certain medication and monitor your situation. They'll wait to see how this medication is going to react to your body. If it reacts badly, they'll take you off and they'll change you. That's why the doctors didn't come and say, okay, fine, we've admitted your sister or your brother. We just sedated them and gave them medication or monitoring the condition, yet the condition is stable. Deep down the discussion, they're thinking, hey, we just told them it's stable, we have to come up with a plan. So this might increase hyperactivity in affected children, and asthmatics sometimes react badly. Be cautious if suffering from any allergies or intolerances. It may cause cancer. So now when you've got allergies and intolerances and you're taking the benzoates, foods with almost all foods, processed foods have got benzoates because they need to prolong their shelf life. So now when you're taking that, and then you're still suffering from these allergies, the allergies are getting worse, then the doctors begin to give you anti-allergens and antihistamines, all those anti pills. Instead of simply telling you to remove the benzoates or any processed food from your diet.
Yeah.
So then you've got the benzoic acid, sodium benzoate, potassium benzoate, calcium benzoate. Some of the Greek and Portuguese names, if I mention them to you, you'll think I'm speaking tongues. Methyl P pyroxy, okay. Hydroxybenzoate. Yeah. And then we've got the sulfates that are added to dried fruits, fruit drinks, sausages, and many other foods. The following sulfites in red can cause headaches, intestine upset, skin disorders, and destroys vitamin B12. Now, you think, okay, or you decide, yes, let me become vegetarian, plant-based, I've removed all the animal products. Now you're eating the processed vegetarian foods with these sulfates that are inside. And then that even further damages or blocks the absorption of vitamin B12. And then you go to the doctor and the doctor says, no, cow's liver. Oh, okay, fine, I'll give you a B12 injection. Then you think, so those counsels with diet were wrong, or back to Eden is just nonsense. I'm going back to Babylon. But it's funny as it may sound, but it's true. And many people have done that. So then the sulfur dioxide, sodium sulfite, sodium hydrogen sulfite, sodium metabisulfite. This sodium metabisulfite, I used to read it a lot when I was a little child. And I used to think, wow, if I could say these terms, I really sound like a chemistry genius. Potassium sulfite, it's all the same thing, it's all sulfites. And then E230, or E262, or from E230 to E262, all those are sulfites that can cause headaches, skin disorders, and intestinal upsets. And then we've got the nitrates that are added to processed meats like bacon, sausages, your typical English breakfast, ham, frozen meals, frozen pizzas, pepperoni, hot dogs. Yeah, if you open up a caravan and sell these things, you really make a fortune. And so in the mornings, at the taxi ranks, all the caravans, that's where you find all the people lining up. Even the canned soups with meat, ravioli, meat dishes. For people that work in restaurants, maybe you know some of these strange looking names like ravioli. Vitamin C, naturally found in fresh fruits and vegetables, has been shown to help prevent the formation of cancer-causing nitrosamines. So in other words, if you consume a lot of vitamin C and you're consuming these nitrates, at least the vitamin C will try and prevent, or you're trying to fight. But then now, the diet, or what they call the standard American diet, abbreviated SAD, and really is a sad diet indeed. It strips, or it's void of vitamin C's and most vitamins. So then now you find yourself eating more nitrates than the actual vitamin C. So the vitamin C is outnumbered 10:1. Then the cancer will still erupt at the end of the day. So the E249, which is potassium nitrate, upsets the blood pressure. So then now the blood pressure pills are there, but the potassium nitrate is there. Then the blood pressure pills are useless. Hence, always when you talk of healing or any healing program, it starts with detox, like an enema, and then a fruit and veg, 10 or 20 or 21 day or 14 day detox, where you just drink nothing but fruits and veggies, natural stuff. Now your body is taking out all these nitrates and all the horses and chariots. Sodium nitrate has been strongly linked to the formation of cancer-causing nitrosamines in the human body, leading to a sharp increase in the risk of cancer for those consuming them. A 2005 Hawaii University study found that eating processed meats increased the risk of pancreatic cancer by 67%. Processed meats. Yam, polony. While another study found that it increased the risk of colorectal cancer by 50%. That's basically colon cancer. When somebody is diagnosed by colon cancer and if it gets to stage 3, whereby the doctor will say, we shall surely die, They'll then say, okay, fine, there's another solution. Let's just cut and paste the part of the colon where there's a cancer. So if your colon naturally is supposed to go round from this way, and then if you cut, and then join, your colon will then come up like a trapezium, like a triangle, like up and then straight down to your Now you'll just be a walking dead person, dead but alive. These are scary numbers for those consuming processed meats on a regular basis. And this I see every day at ShopRite in the morning, stand by the door. That's what the breakfast is. Honey chow, quarter, Russian and bologna. Then you've got the propionics that are added to bread, crumpets, bakery products. Propionic acid, sodium propionates, calcium propionates, they're all propionates. From E280 to E1105. And then I think these are the last ones, the antioxidants. Synthetic antioxidants are added to margarines, vegetable oils, fried foods, snacks, biscuits, etc., etc. Snacks, biscuits, cake mixes. And those are the names. Erythrobic acid, sodium erythrobate, optyl gallate. So then now, BHA. Sometimes now they abbreviate these things, these ingredients. At times they don't put E320, but they'll just write BHA, BHT. So BHA, which is butylated hydroxyanisole, may increase hyperactivity in affected children. Asthmatics sometimes react badly. And then there's BHT, so BHA, BHT, and then the sweeteners, which is mannitol, sorbitol syrup. Then, that's the last one, aspartame, the E951. So products that contain aspartame are Coca-Cola and Pepsi drinks, children's Tylenol chewable tablets, Flintstones, complete children's chewable vitamins, Metamucil sugar-free, breath savers. These so-called, when you finish eating and you chew this chap is to freshen your breath. Wriggles Extra sugar-free gum, Kellogg's All brand. Dr. Kellogg was a very, very wonderful man, and when he invented the cereal, or discovered the cereal, that was a wonderful discovery indeed. But then from 50 years back up to now, they've then started tampering with the cereal. Tampering to increase shelf life and also to have people buy more so they can make more money. So there are over 92 health side effects associated with aspartame consumption. Over 92. Because aspartame can dissolve into solution, it can travel throughout the body and deposit in any tissue. Aspartame brings on clinical diabetes and causes convulsions. So then, one of the days, I think next week we'll deal with diabetes. You should understand that there's two types of diabetes, main types. This is type 1 and type 2. Then we'll dig further. And then we've got xylitol, E967, which is often found in chewing gum and breath mints and is toxic to dogs. So then you've got all these things, the acid, the acidity regulators, the anti-caking agents, anti-foaming agents, bulking agents. All these really, they go into the breads and the cakes. MSG, monosodium glutamate, is a dangerous chemical found in virtually all processed meat products. MSG is dangerous. It's a dangerous excitotoxin linked to neurological disorders such as migraine headaches, Alzheimer's disease, loss of appetite, control, obesity, and many other serious health conditions. Manufacturers use MSG to add an additive savory flavor to dead-tasting processed meat products. So polony, when it's fresh from being processed or manufactured, really tastes dead. Doesn't taste nice at all. Add MSG and wow, you've added life to the polony. So it's added to flavored crackers, snacks, takeaways, Chinese foods, instant noodles, soups, and can cause headaches, dizziness, and chest pains. So sometimes it comes in other names like monopotassium glutamate or calcium diglutamate, but it's all the same thing. So as you can see, the real weapons of mass destruction. Every time you take your child to McDonald's, This is what you're basically exposing your child to. It's an evil-looking clown just stuffing things down your child's throat. And then McDonald's French fries contains 17 ingredients, which is potatoes, canola oil, hydrogenated soybean oil, safflower oil, natural flavor, vegetable sauce, dextrose, this is where the fun begins, sodium acid, pyrophosphate to maintain color, citric acid preservatives, dimethyl, okay, TBHQ is there, canola oil. You know, once something has got more than 5 ingredients, please leave it. And so, before I read Proverbs, this is no. And I'm just going to make an example with no. Now, the day I read the ingredients on no, I tried to do it all in one breath and I ran out of breath. And halfway I had to stop and breathe in and continue. And that's the same effect. This one has got, I think, more E numbers than anything else. E631, E627, then there's TBHQ, then there's citric acid, spice extracts. And always, after the ingredients, is the allergens. This is where a lot of people skip. And it says cow's milk and wheat's gluten. These are the allergens. This product was manufactured in a factory that also processes eggs and soya. Now the issue with soya these days is that it's now been highly genetically modified, and they've thrown so many pesticides because they're mass producing it. And out of soya, that's where you get all these other patties and fries and this and that. So then the demand for soya has become so high because Americans are turning away from the meat. So then the devil said, oh, okay, so you think I'm going to turn away from the meat, is going to give you health. Let me not turn to the soya. And so now the soya then has become an allergen, including the eggs and the milk and the wheat gluten. So then the BHAs is also there, the acid regulator is also there. And aromats, where a lot of people say eggs and chips don't taste nice like aromats, the same thing. The E1550, E330 MSG. And so when it says MSG is added to almost everything, and that's for sure, so that you can get addicted and it adds flavor. And then Tropica, which is water, skim milk, recombined skim milk, cow's milk. So it's milk, 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 skim milk, recombined skim milk, and cow's milk. How much more milk do you want? It's not a land that's flowing with milk and honey. This type of milk is not really good. And then it's got the E330 flavorings, preservatives, potassium sorbate, sodium benzoate, sodium metabosulfite, E220, E211, E223. The list just goes on and on and on. So maybe you must be wondering, now what are we going to eat? You can't eat all these things. Now next week, today is more of the rebuking part, and next week is more of the enlightening part. And it also will become more practical. Because for one bad thing, God has got 10 good things in place. For cow's milk alone, God has placed pecan milk, almond milk, soya milk, rice milk, coconut milk, all these milks. And nobody can ever think to say milk can come out of some of these things, like pecan nuts, like almonds. You can make milk. Simple. In the comfort of your home, cheap. So that's when Proverbs 3 verses 1 and 2 applies. And it reads, "My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments." And you know, the nation of Israel was also symbolized as God's son. So then, in as much as Solomon was writing these proverbs perhaps to his son, but in actual fact it was God giving the nation or the children of Israel these proverbs to say, "Forget not my commandments. For the length of days and long life and peace shall they add unto you." God's commandments. And then our theme verse, Isaiah 55 verses 2. "Wherefore do you spend money for that which is not bread, and you labor for that which satisfieth not?" And I guess now today we're seeing the reason why we really are wasting money, yet we think we are spending money for something that satisfies. This is not bread. Hearken diligently unto me. Don't just hearken, but hearken diligently. And hearken passionately. Hearken with that ear to say, "I'm ready to do. Just tell me and I'll do it." Hearken to that ear that says, God, if you tell me to jump, I'll jump. Eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness. Now, fatness is not doesn't mean obesity. But in fatness, if you put, say, me next to somebody who's underweight, I will always look fatter than that person. But in the word that's used here as fatness, translated in the original Hebrew, means vigor, strong health, good health. When someone looks healthy, you can see from the countenance and from the physique. So when you eat that which satisfies and that which is God-made, your soul and your body being a living soul, will delight itself in proper and true fatness. So the prayer for today is for that God should really afflict our souls. Let this word be like a double-edged sword. In as much as it pierces me as well. I'm not exempt from any of these things. It is easy for me to also find myself craving because I was once there and I've come out. But blessed is he who has never gone there. Like I never smoked before, so then the devil really can't tempt me with a cigarette. But then I've tasted alcohol before, and the devil can't really tempt me with alcohol. So then there can come times when, the Lord's Prayer says, lead us not in temptation. But when that happens, we should pray that we should be delivered from the evil. And so if we are in the temptation, today's prayer should be about deliverance from the evil. So I'm humbly asking that you could all stand with me, with those want to pray with me, and then we ask God to deliver us from this evil. Let us bow our heads and pray. Our Father who art in heaven, there's no other God like you. There's no other God that can come even close to you. You reserve all the rights to say that you are a jealous God and that you don't want us to worship any other God. And so anything that we find our hearts gravitating towards, anything that makes our heart even forget you and forget your law, becomes a God unto us. So it is so easy for us to break the commandment of idolatry for the God. And therefore, today we have learned and we have heard. You've given us that bread and that knowledge, that food that will give life to these dead bones of ours. That food that will make us no longer be dead but be alive and alive indeed. That type of food that even if we sleep, the first sleep, we will not sleep forever again. That food, Father God, which is like manna, which does not grow from the ground, but it comes straight from you. You baked it, you prepared it, and you've given it, dished it out straight into our mouths. We pray, Father God, that we receive this diligently and with gladness. Let this not be like a burden unto us. Let this not be like a forced matter, or that we should need you to perhaps produce a gun to put to our heads and say, do it or else. But we pray for that heart that will gladly and diligently say that whatever you say, Lord, we will do. It is not easy. It will never be easy. But neither is it impossible. All things are possible. And you've even given us your Son to show us and to make things possible for us. You've given us your Son to walk the same walks and the same paths and to go into the same treacherous and the valleys of the shadows of death that we walk through. And yet your Son is overcome as a human being and is telling us that we can also do the same thing. We want to open our ears, not just the ears on our heads, but the ears on our hearts as well, Father God. The ears on our hearts that will gladly accept. And as we are changed from within, then we will also be changed from without. We are really fighting a war that is not a physical war, but it's a spiritual war. Therefore, we cannot fight these spiritual wars, but we ask you to fight on our behalf. It all has to do with a decision that we'll make. And let us not abuse the free will, Father God. And let not the enemy influence us to become people that abuse this free will. But we want to surrender all the free will with our hearts and our minds and our lives and our children, relatives, even those that surround us. We want to bring them all unto you and say, you are the creator, you are the potter, let us be the clay. We pray for all these things, Lord, as we come boldly before your throne of grace, in your Son and our soon coming Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.